Just in time for spooky season, 4 episodes of zombie-fied Avengers are coming to Disney Plus with the animated Marvel Zombies event series starting on September 24th. Here's everything you need to know before gleefully watching Spider-Man rip off some undead heads, including the entire comic's history, which goes deeper than you think. You may be thinking, Marvel Zombies, it explains itself. But there is a little backstory to be aware of. The 5th episode of the first season of Marvel's What If quite simply asks what if zombies and gets the ball rolling. In this alternate continuity, the virus that makes everyone undead munching machines comes from the quantum realm. When Hank Pym goes there to save his long-lost wife, Janet Van Dyne, she's got it. She bites him. They come back and attack Scott Lang. From there, almost everyone gets it within just a few days. The Avengers make it worse by getting infected themselves while trying to stop it. Only a handful of surviving heroes remain: Spider-Man, Hope Van Dyne, Bucky, Okoye, Sharon Carter, Happy Hogan, and Ant-Man's buddy Kurt. Bruce Banner blasts down from space to warn everyone about Thanos' impending arrival, but is shocked to get an eyeful of zombie Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Wong brutally killing the Black Order.
That sorta seems like overkill.
Luckily, the Cloak of Levitation, which is helping out the heroes, gets involved, and Banner gets saved by Hope and Spider-Man. Banner joins up with the others, and they make a plan to go to Camp Lehigh, New Jersey, where they hope a cure is being developed. Both Happy and Sharon get turned on the way and have to be put down. Hope gets infected and sacrifices herself to get the others to safety at Camp Lehigh. There, the group meets with the Vision, who has figured out how the virus works. He has cured Scott Lang, who is now a head in a jar. Scott seems cool with it. Vision has a secret though. He's got zombie Scarlet Witch in there with him, who he can't cure because her powers are too strong, and he's been feeding people to her. Bucky finds T'Challa, who is missing a leg. T'Challa explains what's been going on. Scarlet Witch kills Okoye, Bucky, and Kurt. To atone for what he's done, Vision removes the Mind Stone from his head and gives it to Spider-Man. To give the other survivors time to escape on a quadjet, Banner finally hulks out and fights off a horde of zombies. With the Mind Stone in hand, Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Ant-Man make their way toward Wakanda, which T'Challa believes is the last haven for humanity thanks to its shield. They're briefly held up by a giant zombie Hope, giving Scott a moment of real emotion after he's been shrugging everything off with jokes.
She gave her life so we could get the cure.
That's twice she saved me. That's very Hope.
Then comes the twist. Thanos has arrived. He is a zombie now and has conquered Wakanda. He also has a nearly full Infinity Gauntlet, and the surviving heroes are bringing the last stone right to him. In Season 1, Episode 9 of What If, Doctor Strange summons some zombies to keep Ultron at bay. The zombies, under the control of zombie Scarlet Witch, also briefly appear in What If Season 2, Episode 9. As Peggy Carter and Kahori jump through universes, they encounter the Horde and fight them off for a while until Hela shows up and sedates them all. She is a goddess of death after all. There's a distinctly TV-14 feel to the Marvel Zombies appearances on What If. When Bucky cuts zombie Captain America in half with his own shield, it's virtually bloodless. But just a few moments later, when zombie Sharon Carter explodes, it's in a burst of black goo, not blood. Marvel is clearly well aware that the gorehounds out there want to see some real viscera in their zombie entertainment, so the opening moments of the trailer for the Marvel Zombies event series make clear that the show and the trailer itself are rated TVMA. The blood and guts are here, folks, plus cutscene! It'll continue from the What If episode, at least at the start or in a flashback. There are shots of zombie Thanos and Scarlet Witch. We also see the team of Spider-Man, Black Panther, and the head of Ant-Man wearing the Cloak of Levitation fighting off some zombies. But largely, the focus seems to be on a new set of survivors: Yelena Belova, Ms. Marvel, Red Guardian, Shang-Chi, and his friend Katie, Jimmy Woo, and a version of Blade who has Moon Knight's powers. With the exception of Blade, all of those characters are voiced by their live-action MCU actors.
And they're coming for us.
The credits also indicate that US Agent, Kate Bishop, and Ironheart will show up in some capacity as either human or zombie too. Well before Captain America and Scarlet Witch started shambling and eating flesh, the term Marvel Zombie had a whole different meaning. Tribalism and animosity among fans may seem like recent internet-spurred phenomena, but swiping between adherents to different companies goes way back. After Marvel Comics struck gold with its slew of new characters in the 1960s, lots of fans chose sides between Marvel and its superhero publishing rival, the distinguished competition, DC Comics. Both sides had derogatory names for the other. Marvel fans would often refer to DC-only readers as DC drones, while DC's faithful had their own derogatory name for those that read just Marvel Comics, Marvel Zombies. While it was originally intended as an insult for mindlessly consuming whatever Marvel put out, over time fans and even Marvel itself started to embrace the moniker. Funny enough, Marvel couldn't actually use the word zombie in its comics for decades. After congressional hearings in the 1950s investigating the content of comics of the period, various publishers got together to create the Comics Code Authority, essentially a self-censorship policy. Many of its rules specifically targeted horror and sci-fi publisher EC Comics, including a ban on the use of the word zombie. By the 1970s, publishers figured out some creative ways to get around the Comics Code rules. In its mainline superhero comics, Marvel started using the word Zuvembi instead of zombie, but they also started publishing a few books in a larger black and white magazine format, which meant that they didn't fall under the code. That's how Marvel got away with bringing back Simon Garth, a zombie controlled with a magic amulet who had first appeared in Menace issue 5 from 1953. Garth first came back in the magazine-sized Dracula No. 2, but soon got his own book, Tales of the Zombie, in 1973. The first issue finally gave his origin. Fed up with being yelled at, Garth's gardener stabs him to death. But that's not good enough. The gardener gets a voodoo cult to revive Garth and put him under his control. Garth eventually tracks down and kills the gardener, but is controlled by other masters who get hold of the amulet. The series lasted 11 issues, and Garth's zombie has popped up a few times in the years since. The Comics Code finally allowed publishers to say zombie again in the late 1980s. The Marvel Zombies concept, as it appears in the animated series, with the heroes we all know and love suddenly hungering for flesh, emerged in Ultimate Fantastic Four issue 21 by writer Mark Miller and artist Greg Land. The 3-issue story from 2005, cheekily titled Crossover, finds the Ultimate Universe's Reed Richards making contact with an alternate universe Reed that closely resembles the one from the mainline Marvel U. But when Ultimate Reed goes to their world, he finds a desolate wasteland. The alternate FF emerges from the shadows in full zombie form and explains that a version of the Sentry from yet another universe came to theirs already infected and spread the zombie virus through the whole planet in less than 24 hours. Now out of food, the heroes of this world want to invade the Ultimate Universe. They nearly do too. Reed only survives with the help of a surviving Magneto, and the rest of the Ultimate FF pushes back the invading zombies. Sue Storm uses her force fields to manipulate their brains. Pretty gruesome stuff. Finally, the zombie universe's Magneto sacrifices himself and essentially nukes the city by destroying the interdimensional teleporter to end the zombie threat. But, not really. The superheroes as zombies idea proved so popular that Marvel tapped Robert Kirkman, the co-creator of The Walking Dead, to write a follow-up miniseries titled Marvel Zombies in a wink to the old nickname for fans. The 5-issue series from 2006 really got all the fun it could out of the idea. Covers by painter Arthur Sudam reimagine classic Marvel covers with zombie versions, and the interior art by Sean Phillips is delightfully gross, but not particularly bloody. The story kicks off where the Ultimate FF story ends, with Magneto having destroyed the interdimensional portal. But that explosion didn't actually kill anybody, and the fully intact zombies eat Magneto alive. Silver Surfer arrives to announce that Galactus is coming to devour Earth. The zombies eat him too. Those that get a taste of sorta also get some of the power cosmic, and they decide to eat the other zombies even though they taste terrible. Eventually, Galactus arrives, and the zombies also eat him. Meanwhile, a non-zombie Black Panther who Hank Pym has been keeping alive for rations, essentially, escapes and meets up with the Forge and the Acolytes, who've been living in space on Asteroid M. They all escape back to space in hopes of developing a cure. They return to Earth 5 years later to find it deserted. The zombies, now with Galactus' powers, are going from planet to planet, feeding. About a year after the Marvel Zombies miniseries, Marvel teamed up with Dynamite Entertainment to publish a crossover between the Marvel Zombies and Army of Darkness. The 5-issue series by John Layman and various artists flashes back to before the zombie plague started. In this story, at least, it's the Deadite curse from Evil Dead and Army of Darkness that's behind it all. Ash Williams arrives through a portal from another dimension and encounters Marvel heroes, trying to warn them about their impending doom. He's seen this before.
I'll swallow your soul!
Come get some.
The heroes ignore him and get infected by the alternate universe Sentry once again. Ash tries to work with multiple surviving heroes: Spider-Man, the Punisher, Dazzler, Scarlet Witch, and even Doctor Doom to stop the infection spread. In the end, Ash uses the Necronomicon to raise an army of everyone the zombies killed to fight back against them. Ash manages to escape through an interdimensional portal Doctor Doom built, but finds himself in a universe where all the Marvel superheroes are werewolves. Kirkman and Phillips returned, also in 2007, for the prequel one-shot Marvel Zombies Dead Days. It also jumps back to the start of the zombie apocalypse, changing many of the details from Marvel Zombies Army of Darkness. Namely, instead of the Deadite curse, it's stated in Dead Days that the virus was somehow brought to Earth as a result of a deal struck by Magneto, who planned to use it to thin out humanity to give mutants a fighting chance. But the virus affects everyone and gets out of hand. So it's out of guilt that Magneto becomes Earth's seeming lone remaining hero. He attempts to recruit the X-Men to help him, but everyone gets infected anyway. Spider-Man gets bitten and attacks Mary Jane. Black Panther gets kidnapped by Hank Pym after noticing he's bitten, and Reed Richards allows the Fantastic Four to become infected after She-Hulk infects his kids, Franklin and Valeria. In the end, Zombie Reed, who believes that they're the height of evolution, says it's time for the infected to spread the gospel. The Galactus zombies briefly met the 616 Fantastic Four in Black Panther before a full sequel series to Marvel Zombies hit, once again by Kirkman and Phillips. Marvel Zombies 2 picks back up 40 years in the future. Thanos, Firelord, and Gladiator have joined the zombie ranks, and they're basically eaten everywhere there is to eat in the universe. That is, except for Ego, the living planet, whom they eat. Meanwhile, on Earth, Black Panther has established a new Wakanda. The surviving humans have discovered that the zombies' hunger fades over time, via the severed heads of Zombie Wasp and Hawkeye. Infighting ends up tearing apart both groups. T'Challa is stabbed in an assassination attempt, and Wasp has to make him into a zombie to keep him sort of kind of alive. And the zombies break into factions upon coming back to Earth. One group simply wants to devour everything, and another sees that they'll run out of food again if they do that. It's revealed that the still human Forge has been to both Stark Industries and Baxter Building to raid their resources. At the latter, he has found another dimensional portal. After a huge fight that includes the Hulk eating just about everything he can, the zombies and the humans come to a truce as most of the zombies realize their hunger is gone. The zombies help rebuild New Wakanda and get the portal working, just as Malcolm Cortez, the acolyte who set up the assassination attempt on Black Panther, sends the zombies through the portal to be someone else's problem. The series Marvel Zombies Return from 2009 follows where most of them ended up in a series of one-shots. It largely parodies the characters' most famous stories. In Marvel Zombies 3 from 2008, Kirkman tagged out and was replaced by writer Fred Van Lente, with Kev Walker taking over on art. The covers on this 4-issue series parody posters for horror movies rather than classic Marvel covers. Fun! The action also starts at least in the 616 Marvel U. The zombies have infiltrated through the nexus of realities in Florida, including a zombie Morbius who has captured the 616 version. It eventually becomes clear that the story takes place between Marvel Zombies 1 and 2, with the Galactus zombies having left other zombies, some behind on their Earth, to fend for themselves. Two of Marvel's most prominent robot characters, Machine Man and Joe Castor, travel to the zombie universe in hopes of finding a cure. But that's really just an excuse for Machine Man to become literally a zombie-killing machine. He slaughters a whole bunch of them brought together by the zombie Kingpin throughout the 4 issues. Machine Man returns in 2010's Marvel Zombies 5 by Van Lente and various artists. That series finds Machine Man teaming up with Howard the Duck to go to various universes to kill zombies who resemble monsters from various movies, including Army of Darkness and 28 Days Later.
Irradiated.
Marvel Zombies 3 ends with a Morbius who's just a vampire killing his zombie counterpart and reassembling the Midnight Suns to take on the undead threat. That story continues in Marvel Zombies 4 from 2009, once again by Van Lente and Walker. Morbius teams with Werewolf by Night, Jennifer Kale, Damon Hellstrom, and Man-Thing to take on a cruise ship full of zombie fishmen. As it turns out, these zombies were created by a zombie Deadpool head and a returning Simon Garth. After an island battle involving Black Talon, the Hood, Dormammu, and a giant cloud that can create zombies with rain, the zombie plague ends up being fully contained within Garth, making him once again the Marvel Zombie. Except the zombie Deadpool head is still around, eventually becoming a key member of the Deadpool Corps. He even appeared in Deadpool and Wolverine.
I take it they're not friendly.
Goodness, no.
Marvel's attempted to wring some sales out of some guts and gore with some single-issue stories too. In late 2009, they published Marvel Zombies Evil Evolution by Carl Kiesel and a bunch of different artists. It takes place between Dead Days and the first Ultimate Fantastic Four story and finds the zombie-fied heroes fighting against the ape Avengers. This stuff got pretty wild. Marvel Zombies 5 proved to be the final numbered miniseries featuring the concept, but Marvel brought the zombies back in 2012 for a Halloween special once again, written by Van Lente with art by Alessandro Vitti. It features a child named Peter and his mom, who turns out to be Kitty Pryde, trying to survive in the early days of the zombie outbreak. Dressed in a Wolverine costume to celebrate Halloween, Peter runs into a bunch of zombie superheroes, including Darkhawk and Squirrel Girl. In the end, Kitty and Peter are saved by Mephisto, who really wants the boy's soul but doesn't get it. Marvel Zombies as a publishing initiative kind of fizzled out a bit after a few years of persistent releases. The idea maybe got stretched a little too thin. For instance, 2011's Marvel Zombies Supreme uses the branding and features the Squadron Supreme in zombie form, but it's otherwise outside of the Marvel Zombies continuity. The heroes are zombified through scientific experiments rather than the invading zombie century. The last Marvel Zombies miniseries for a while was 2012's Marvel Zombies Destroy, which at least kind of continues Howard the Duck's story from Marvel Zombies 5, but it was very far afield from the original zombie universe, instead taking place largely during an alternate history World War II full of undead enemies and heroes. The Marvel Zombies brand lay dormant for about 3 years until Secret Wars hit in 2015. That event took place on Battleworld, a patchwork planet made up of various universes that no longer existed. One region of Battleworld was the Deadlands, where the Marvel Zombies lived, Natch. The tie-in just titled Battleworld Marvel Zombies found Elsa Bloodstone serving as the Lone Guardian, tasked with keeping the zombies in the Deadlands and out of the rest of Battleworld. After briefly becoming a zombie, Elsa not only cures herself but brings her dead father back to life too. The other tie-in, Age of Ultron vs. Marvel Zombies, finds the undead initially fighting, then teaming up with what had kind of become their sworn enemies, robots. By the end, the robots and zombies are combined into hybrids, and they all get distracted by a big light. The original Marvel Zombies universe more or less got exhausted. So in recent years, Marvel Comics has tried some new ways to bring back the idea. In 2018, the one-shot Marvel Zombie introduced a universe where Simon Garth is a one-good zombie in a world ravaged by a zombie plague. Marvel Zombies Resurrection, released in 2 volumes in 2019 and 2020, tied another reboot where a group of cosmic Marvel heroes infected with the zombie virus come to Earth using Galactus' corpse as a ship. It's eventually revealed that the brood planted eggs inside Galactus, creating beings that started a new hunger virus. Marvel Zombies Black, White, and Blood from 2023 is an anthology series set in yet another universe with a different zombie plague. And Marvel Zombies Dawn of Decay from 2024 tries one more time. That zombie virus comes simply from Groot sneezing. Maybe the new take on the Marvel Zombies from Marvel Zombies Red Band, which just started in advance of the animated series, will be the one that sticks. That series follows a Fantastic Four that returns from their space mission, not as heroes, but superpowered zombies.